Welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from No Diet Babe. I'm a spiritual mindset coach and weight loss expert. If you are a spiritual babe wanting to up-level your life around your body, health, wellness, spirituality, law of attraction and manifestation, then this is the podcast for you. I'm here to give you the tools, teachings, and strategies to manifest the body and life of your dreams. As spiritual babes, we know to focus on love as opposed to fear. So get ready to learn how to implement spiritual teachings to weight loss, wellness, and your daily life, coming from a place of love and abundance. This is a celebration of how we can shift our inner perception of ourselves and watch our outer selves shift. You can become the best version of yourself, and I'm here to help. So let's get started. Hey babes, welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from NoDietBabe.com, and welcome to today's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about a common thing that we tend to do that I've noticed myself do in the past in certain areas, and what I do what's come up recently for me is like looking to the past instead of creating your future. So I'm going to talk about that today. So today's episode also, you guys, is sponsored by my No Diet Babe Academy, which is an amazing course for anyone who's struggling with yo-yo dieting. So if you tend to fluctuate in weight, if you tend to be really good at dieting when you're on, but then struggle to stay on, and then you go off and then you gain the weight back, and you constantly go through this cycle of losing and gaining weight over and over again. Perhaps you struggle with binge eating when you do give up on a diet, and it just feels so overwhelming, like nothing ever works, then the Academy is for you. Okay. So anyway, you guys, today I want to talk about like something along those lines. So when I was a yo-yo dieter, one of the things I would do all the time is I'd like go, okay, now, so now I'm in this position where I've gained this weight. I'm not happy with myself. I'm like at my heaviest. This is uncomfortable. So now I need to figure out how I'm going to fix this, right? So I would go about it like that. And then I'd be like, well, what have I done in the past? Let me just look at what I did last time. What did I do last time to get here? Right? Let me just copy what I did last time, and then everything will be okay. Everything will work out. I'll just copy the exact action steps that I took last time. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. If only I could be there again. Let me go back to that. Right? But the thing is that your higher self is always moving forwards. So when you try and go back, when you're thinking back, it doesn't, like, it kind of creates this block or this resistance type energy, because it's like universe is always expanding, right? We're always about forward movement and growth. Like you can't go backwards. We can't go back in time, right? We literally can't go backwards. So then it doesn't make sense to keep looking at what you've done before to have improvement in your life, right? So you have to keep moving forwards. Trust that you might implement strategies that you've used in the past, but also just keep an open mind, because any information that you have used in the past is available to you in your mind if you need it. But you energetically don't have to put yourself back to where you were in the past from energy of not growing forwards or not moving forwards, okay? Because what I've noticed in my mindset back when I was doing the dieting stuff, I was all like, oh, let me just do what I did that other time. Let me just do what I did that time. But it was all about doing. What was I doing? What was I doing then? What was I doing that worked back then? What can I recreate what I was doing and then it will work again? But if you've ever picked up on this, I pick up on this all the time, that doesn't work. So then you blame motivation, you blame something else, but it's not that. It's that you're not recognizing that the universe needs you to grow where you are now, not who you were back then. You know, you're not that person anymore. You're a different person now, right? Your cells have literally, like, you know, your body has this cell turnover, like you're literally a different person, right? So you have to look at the circumstances now and get connected to yourself and your intuition now and trust and follow that guidance and trust and know that anything that you've done in the past is all available to you if you need to implement anything. But it's all about creating the new. Because what I noticed as well, that I used to do it with business, used to do it with weight, and then now I do it with business. It's like, well, what did I do that month that made that month so good? You know, that kind of thing. And then I go backwards in my head, and then it's like, well, hang on a second, Barbara, you're doing that thing that you used to do with weight, and it's like, aren't you creating a whole new version of yourself? Why are you trying to repeat the past all over again, right? If you've lost weight before and then gained it back, why would you go backwards and look at how you lost the weight when you gained it back? You know what I'm saying? So this is about creating the version of you that loses weight and then never ever has to think about it again. Right? You never go through, if you go through a rough patch in life, you don't gain weight as a result, you know? And but in saying that, the only thing that I have to say in addition to that is, like, when I talk about not gaining weight, like, I'm talking about gaining a lot of weight. Like, I think that some people get freaked out by fluctuations and perhaps not being at their most peak time all the time. And especially if you do go through like emotional times, or like, you know, even not just emotional times, but I think like stages of growth where I feel like I'm growing and I need to kind of, like a caterpillar, you know, you have your cocoon and then you emerge as a butterfly. Like, during some times in life when you have those cocoon moments, don't put so much pressure on yourself to be at your peak. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're going through a stage where your body's a bit softer, or like things, you know, during that time of the month, some people experience a bit of puffiness, or like, you know, you fluctuate like 1 to 2 pounds, or you have a bit of puffiness, or your body feels a bit softer or whatever. It's like, don't attach so much meaning to those events. Just allow yourself to flow through these seasons. What I mean is that when you go and gain like lots of weight, like more than 4 or 5 pounds, you know what I'm saying? Like, you completely change your dress size, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like for the last 5 years, I haven't changed dress size, you know, and my weight sometimes fluctuates 1 to 2 pounds, and sometimes like I'm not at my peak, but I set rules, I set energetic rules not to fluctuate, but simultaneously I'm like also not trying to control everything. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to this stage of obsessive controlling energy rather than trust and surrendering, it's a completely different thing. Like, I trust and surrender whilst knowing if I'm not at my peak, that doesn't mean that I'm never going to be at my peak again, or like I just hover around the peak. You know what I mean? I hover around it, and I'm just like, in those stages, it's like looking, like superficial looks aren't everything all the time. Like you get to have it all, but you also, it gets to it's safe to not like, what I'm trying to say is that so many women are so freaking obsessive and controlling that they are so hyper aware of the slightest bit of bloat or the slightest bit of like body composition change or the slightest bit of like puffiness. They freak out, and it just turns it into like a whole chaotic energy and franticness of, oh my God, I need to fix this. And that is not helpful. Like there's going to be times in life where, you know, you do have those stages, but also it's different to completely letting go and completely gaining and piling loads of weight on and changing your dress sizes and not fitting in your clothes type of thing. So I feel like there's one extreme and then there's another, and it's like you just have to find that nice spot where it's okay and you can trust and there is stability, but you can't make the slightest changes mean that you're not in that place of stability, right? So anyway, it's like, stop looking at your past, right? Stop trying to recreate something that happened in your past when that problem, if it's back again, you haven't truly stepped into the version of yourself that has what you want. And that's okay, because there are lessons that are required as part of your growth as a human being. So if you keep looking at your past, you're not learning and seeing the lessons in front of you to move forward. Yeah, you're resisting the work that you need to do now in order to move into the next level of your life, okay? Because we're all here for growth, aren't we? Like if you're here on this episode, you're here for growth as a person. And that is so much deeper than just how much you weigh or how toned your body is or like what you look like. This work is about building a solid foundation where you are just, you have a good relationship to food, you have a good relationship to your body, and it feels good. It feels good. There's no more icky energy around it. It doesn't feel hard. It's not a struggle. You know what you're doing, and you don't feel deprived, or you don't feel any of those things that you may have been through before. And if you've never experienced that, if you're thinking, well, that doesn't exist for me, it might exist for you, but it doesn't exist for me, just keep in mind that your brain is literally limiting you to think your past again. You're looking at your past instead of realizing that you can create something that you haven't experienced yet. You can, whether it's in a relationship, in earning a certain amount of money, or getting to a certain weight without deprivation and for it to feel easy. Just because you've never experienced it before doesn't mean you can't create that. And one of the biggest things that I see is that people just identify too much with their past. They think that their past is all the evidence of what they can be in the future. And I do this too. I label myself based on who I am or was. But then there's another part of me, there's another little voice that says, keep going, Barbara, keep going, because you're going to look back and you're going to realize just how much this work was paying off. And that's the same voice that kept me going when I was binge eating and emotionally eating, and when I was going to a naturopath constantly and being so perfectionist about my diet, but kind of getting nowhere, right? So just remember, don't keep looking at your past and trying to recreate it and go, well, what did I do that time that worked? Well, let me just retrace those steps. When what you're trying to do in actual fact is create better results. You're wanting to get better than even the last time you experienced it. Because I kept on trying to do what I did last time. Let me do what I did last time. And then I got to a place that I didn't even believe was possible, right? I didn't even believe it was possible. But because I expanded and opened up to the potential of creating a new reality, I was able to excel to places that I didn't believe were possible. And if I was still looking back to recreate the past, I would still be doing that same thing again. I'd be still yo-yoing up and down between the same 5 to 10 kilos or the same 10 to 20 pounds over and over again, rather than where I am today. I wouldn't have created the metabolism I have today, the ease I have today, the stability I have today. So it's just important to look forward, go forward, and keep your brain. It's really a discipline when your brain does do that. You have to go, oops, let's move forward. And that's really exactly what I talk about in the academy as well. The foundation of the academy is to teach you longevity, right? With weight loss, not the up and down. That's really the start and stop mentality with food and weight. And that's why you feel like it's so easy to gain weight back. It's because you haven't worked on the belief systems around that. You haven't worked on the energy that you need to be in order to lose weight easily. So it's not so up and down, and it doesn't feel so like you have to be so perfect in order to lose weight. And then the moment you even stray a little bit, you gain a lot of weight back. That doesn't have to be your reality. I'm telling you now that just because that's all you've experienced doesn't mean that's the only reality that's true for you. Okay? Have faith that you don't need to stick a label on your head or tattoo it on your forehead that this is who I am and I'm stuck like this for life. Like, don't do that to yourself. We're all always growing, okay? And it's not going to always be pretty either. And that's okay. You're safe. You're good enough. You know what I mean? You're enough. You're lovable. And everything's going to work out for you. So just trust, just be persistent, believe in yourself, believe in the universe, believe in God, whatever you need to believe in, that you are being guided and that you can move forward. Look at what is being put in front of you now and follow that. Follow the nudges now rather than let me look to the past and not trust what my brain is telling me to do right now. Okay? So anyway, you guys, I hope that was encouraging for you and helpful. I'd love to hear from you if it was. And go check out the academy, nodietbabe.com/academy. It's such a great course, especially if, you perhaps aren't in a position to do my group coaching or one-on-one. Group coaching and one-on-one is a really high support level of working with me. It's you get daily access to me. It's like weekly sessions. You really do get a chance to get in my energy a lot around food and weight. And if that's not an investment for you at this time, then the No Diet Babe Academy is a great way to just get into that energy without having to invest in the higher level support. But also, if you are being drawn to higher level of support, reach out to me, hello@nodietbabe.com. I would love to work with you and transform your life and body this year. And thank you for tuning in today. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you loved this episode, I'd love for you to leave me an iTunes review. Don't forget to follow this podcast for more uplifting teachings to come. For more tips, inspiration, and teachings, come follow me on Instagram @NoDietBabe or check out my website, nodietbabe.com. Until I see you next time, babes, lots of love.